Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Comet Corner, first edition for this year for our men's basketball team. And today we have Coach Tyler, head men's basketball coach. Coach, thanks for coming on today.
You bet.
Go time, season's here. I know you guys have been hard at it in the gym now for a while. How has preseason gone and how has practice gone to start things out this year?
You know, for having as many new faces as we've had so far this year, it's gone pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, we've talked a lot about when you have this many new kids, we're kind of in the infant stages.
Yep.
We're learning how to do things the Comet way, and that's just going to take time.
Mm-hmm.
I've been really happy with where we've gotten so far at this point, but understanding that we have a long, long ways to go. It would be interesting to see. We have first scrimmage tonight, and then our first game obviously against Jamestown on Tuesday. They're going to be ranked somewhere in the top 20 nationally, so that'll be a great test out of the chute for us on there. But I think our guys are ready just to not play each other.
Right,
and
right.
play somebody else at this point. So.
Yeah. And Coach, I'll tell you, you mentioned new faces and had some guys graduate and that kind of thing. And what of those new faces, who is really, what's a name that and I know it's especially the way you guys play, it's a total team effort, but what's some names that you think are going to be impacts for us this year as we roll into the 1920 schedule?
Yeah, when you have 9 of your top 10 graduate
Right.
or move on, it obviously leaves a lot of new holes to fill. We've looked at Max Cooper as our one returning Letterman winner as to kind of be a big force for us there. And then Renee Melendez has come in and done some good things so far as a returner. Dominic Schuster's a redshirt freshman, has done some good things, and Xavier Towns has been hurt, but he was doing pretty well and providing some good leadership for us at this point so far. So, and then of the new guys, I think everybody, when you're learning something new, you have your good days and your bad.
Right.
And some days there are a couple guys that really shoot up and shoot off the page, and the next day it seems like there's a couple others. So. Jalen Valverde has been a guy who came in really good shape. Latrell Franklin, kind of the same thing.
Okay.
That they've picked things up. They're able to play at the pace that we want to play at.
Mm-hmm.
Two slightly undersized but lightning fast guards that we're pretty excited about what they're going to be able to do in our offense and our system in there. But I think we could take 2 minutes on each guy and we could tell you some really good things on it. So I don't think there's really one person out, of anybody else at that point. But those were two from a buy-in, a leadership, and kind of a conditioning standpoint at this point. I would say it kind of stuck out.
Okay, and Coach, with with a lot of new faces this year, there has to be that learning curve there a little bit of the team really developing chemistry and that kind of thing. I know you obviously do a phenomenal job of leading your team and getting those guys to buy in, so to speak, to the way you are in your system and that kind of thing. But how has the team been able to mesh early on with a lot of new guys on the team?
Yeah, we had growing pains.
Yeah.
I mean, no ifs, ands, buts about it. There are
Right.
absolutely growing pains coming in here. It's very hard when the majority group is bigger than the returning group in forms of learning on there. You always hope that you have a great chunk of returning guys coming back, and there's a smaller chunk of new guys, and we're just not in that situation this year. So we absolutely had some growing pains on there, but as far as a place right now where we're at, I would give us, we're probably 50% of the way there right now. We've got good kids. That's the best thing about it is we've got guys that want to do the right thing, that are interested in learning how we do things here and then doing them that way. Again, it's just going to take time.
Okay.
Right? That's just where it's going to be, but off-court issues, we don't have any. We've got guys, we haven't had a starfish yet. There's just a lot of things that we don't have issues with that have kind of carried over from last year, which is great.
Absolutely.
Makes my job a lot easier
Yeah.
when I can think about the basketball things like
Right.
that. But we're being pretty good teammates. We need to be more vocal. We need to have better preparation in what we're doing. We need to take our jobs maybe a little more seriously than we've had before. And that's where I'd say I think we're about 50% of the way there now. Can we get all the way there tomorrow? Maybe. Is it going to be November, December, January?
Right.
That's kind of up to them and what they want to do. But again, they want to do the right thing, and that's half the battle sometimes.
Good. And Coach, you know, looking at the schedule early on before you hit conference play, which obviously is huge, you didn't do yourself any favors this year. You got quite some competition, and you know, you can look at it a lot of different ways, right? What kind of went into, you know, scheduling Jamestown off the bat? Some of the other GPAC schools, I think we host Dort and Northwestern here, not preseason, but before you hit conference play and that kind of thing. Tell us a little bit about that and the thought process behind that.
It's all about, in this part of the season, it's all about playing the best competition and getting the best out of yourselves.
Yeah.
And having to see where you have to put yourself at a level to be successful.
Okay.
We might take our lumps, and that's okay. Like, we're going to play the best teams that we can play. You know, we've got the 3 Division II teams, the 2 Division I teams, NDSU and USD we're going to play, some of the top teams in the GPAC, but we need to see like the level that kind of basketball is played at, so that we can bring ourselves to that. You know? It's one thing for me to sit there and tell the guys like this is how championship teams play, or that. It's another thing to play against it.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And say what we want to say about our league and everything like else. Like, we've been kind of notorious for being a one-bid league right now. So it's all about getting ourselves ready for conference play.
Yeah.
You know, if our non-conference record isn't great, you know, again, that it matters, but it doesn't matter in that, you know, you got to win your league.
Yeah.
If you want to go on, you got to win your league. So whatever you got to do to get yourself prepared for that is what you need to do if you want to really, you know, have continued success down there.
Right. And Coach, you know, when you talk about league play this year, you know, it was a competitive league last year. A lot of guys towards the top of the conference kind of beating up on each other, and you know, you guys were able to come with another tournament championship for the second year in a row. Who is it this year? And it's probably not one, right? But North Star's going to have some really good teams. Who do you expect, you know, once we get into conference play later on in the season to really be a tough game? I mean, I know every conference game's tough, obviously, but who would you say are the front runners, so to speak?
Yeah, it could go in a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
I think our preseason polls are going to come out either tomorrow or Monday.
Okay.
I know we just did the voting on that.
Okay.
You could just go down the line. Bellevue has a ton of talented transfers coming in from all over the place, and they had some really good redshirt kids that were on the team last year that are coming in. I think Valley returns the most of everybody. And they had one of the top scorers in the league. It will be on their team, and they have a really good transfer that I played against in our junior college when I coached at Ridgewater. He played against Anoka Ramsey over there. That's really good. Dickinson returns some good guys, and they got some really talented transfers in as well. Dakota State was a little down last year, but all of those kids are back. So all their freshmen and sophomores have a ton of experience on there. And then and Waldorf has 3 of their top kids back. Viterbo does a fantastic job year in and year out with their kids coming through there.
Right.
And I know they've got 2 of their good players, returning players that'll be back, and they've got a couple transfers that aren't bad too. And then Presentation has a new coach, and they've got 2 starters coming back too. So I guess what I'm getting at is kind of everybody returns more than what we return at this point.
Right.
So again, I just think it's going to be, you're going to see weird scores night in and night out there, and there might be some teams that are kind of separate themselves a little bit at the top, but it always seems like you have this chunk of everybody else that just whoever plays a little harder, a little better that day, it ends up winning. So it'll be a very tough night in, night out.
Yeah, good. And Coach, you mentioned Max Cooper being a leader and a returner this year. How much have you seen him progress from the end of last year to where you're at right now?
Yeah, well, I think about Max when I first got here, you know, up 2.5 years ago now, and where he's at, and where he was he's still pretty goofy, but where he was kind of the really goofy guy first, and now he's coming in and he's just sitting down and he's telling me without me even asking the things he needs to do better and things that he you know did wrong that he needs to improve on, or even the leadership things on there. I've just been very, very happy with him because unfortunately for him, he was kind of thrown a lot of leadership here in a really quick turnaround. Whether that's fair or unfair to him,
Right.
it's what his job became, and he's done a good job of that so far, and the best that he can do that. So
Good.
we're thankful to have him and those other 3 guys that are returning here that trying to help show these new guys the way and the Comet way and how we do things here.
Awesome. Great. And Coach, so you open up at Jamestown on Tuesday.
Yep.
And that's gonna be a tough one. Good, tough team right out of the gate.
Yep.
And then we're at home for first home games of the year. Not this weekend, but the next weekend, and Saturday and Sunday. So, with that said, how important is it to you to get off to a good start, to kind of set the tone for the year?
Oh, it's always important. Again, we're going to take it a day at a time, and we're thinking about Lake Region tonight. I mean, just that's who we scrimmaged,
Yep.
so we're just taking it one day at a time. And then once we get over that tonight, then we'll watch the film, and then we'll focus on Jamestown from there. And I can't remember what it was, if we were 13-1 or 14-1 at Louis Lee last year. Hopefully we can do that again.
Absolutely.
We've got some more tougher non-conference games at home this year than we did last year, but just to kind of, it's always nice to kind of get some of that confidence and that momentum going right away. And then, like you said, we go November 1st to November 24th, and it's a
bear.
It's a bear.
Yeah.
Yep. And we will see what kind of team we're going to be at the end of that. Not necessarily from a record standpoint, but are we still getting better? Are we still together as a group? Are we still focused on the things that we feel are important? And if we can go through that 3 weeks and still be good with all that, we'll be just fine the rest of the way.
And Coach, fair to say more home games, early on in the season this year, for fans to be able to come out and support and watch, obviously, and than last year.
Yeah, because I think last year were flip-flopped, and now this year we got 17 or 18 home games compared
Awesome.
to 12 or 13 on the road or whatever it is. But
Right.
But nice also to have it early for people to come out and kind of see the new guys and see how it is, and I think they will enjoy seeing the learning process here and the growth.
Right.
Even some of the guys that came out to see Midnight Madness, the 8 o'clock Rockets call
Right.
out here, and then see, in just a couple weeks, and then a couple weeks from there on out. And like I said, it's going to take some time, but we feel really good about this group, again, because there are such good kids, and we think we're headed in the right direction here as so far.
Good. Well, Coach, I appreciate it. Is there anything you want to talk to the community about and supporters about before we wrap up today?
Nope, just hope to see you out at the games again and help support these guys and show them what the Mayville and Portland community are all about.
Awesome. I appreciate it. And open up the season this coming Tuesday at Jamestown. If you can't get to Jamestown, obviously you can stream that. So hope you are able to tune in and cheer on our Comets and Coach Ty and his crew. And then the following weekend, Saturday and Sunday, we're here at home for our first home games of the season. So appreciate if you come out and give support to Coach Ty and the men's basketball team. Coach, I know you're busy. Really appreciate you taking the time, and good luck this season.
You bet. Thank you.